With me now is Yoram Schweitzer. He is a senior research fellow at Israel's Institute for National Security Studies. Sir, thank you so much for being with me. Another scary incident, very tense moments. Is this headed to something larger? Are we headed to a third Lebanon war?
I hope so, that we won't have any war in the third war in Lebanon. The skirmishes between Israelis and the Lebanese army is not something new, definitely not with Hezbollah, because there are Hezbollah people hanging around in civil clothes around them. We all remember the severe event that happened on the border between Israelis and Lebanese soldiers in 2011 on September, when Israeli commander of battalion was killed by a sniper in a planned operation that was pre-planned by Hezbollah. I think that at this stage, Hezbollah and thus the Lebanese army do not have interest to warm up the scene.
What do you make of the decision that's being reported of this being an intentional move by Israel? They wanted to respond in some way to the infiltration attempts. You know, there have been a series of shepherds who may or may not have been acting with nefarious intent, crossing the no man's land, in the Sheba Farms area. There's been a series of infiltrations. Israel had to do something. Was it the right choice? Was it a strategic, correct decision to go with tanks and some soldiers?
I think the Israeli army is doing its operations with the understanding of Hezbollah and the UN that Israel is not doing anything that is out of the understandings. Of course, it may raise tension. Hezbollah is trying his maneuvers, but I think both sides are maintaining this tension under control. Of course, it may get out of hand, but this is something that is a status quo that is accepted by the two sides. Each side is giving signs to the other side not to cross the line, and we have seen other events that happened in Syria and in Lebanon, on the border in Lebanon last month, or even on mid-April.
In both events, Yoram, in both both events from last month and now, tell me the role, perhaps the very important role, of the UN peacekeeping force, the blue hats that are out there. What's their job, and are they doing it well?
Their job is to help both sides not to extend the tension into a deterioration to escalation. But in time when it will be, unfortunately, I hope it won't be, when the time comes and both sides decide to go further on, these elements will not interfere, will not be effective.
And the idea, though, Israel has blamed the UN peacekeepers for turning the other way with Hezbollah aggression, particularly tunnel digging into the border, that the UN is not doing an effective job until maybe it's too late.
We all know that the UN does not have an effective role in preventing operations by both sides. It is there to try to mitigate, to try to lower the tension, but it's not an effective force. And of course, when the tunnels of Hezbollah, which were definitely a violation, a severe violation, and an act of war actually, to dug tunnels into the Israeli territory in order to infiltrate the Israeli territory, when Israel unveiled these operations of Hezbollah, of course, the UN was accused of not doing his job. And the fact that Hezbollah is hanging around and its troops are moving in civilian clothes and operating in these villages, it's also a violation of 1701.
Yeah.
So Israel has a right to claim that it is not effective and it's not doing its job. But it's better that it's there in order to mitigate this tension that is not, hopefully, will lead to escalation.
All right, Yoram Schweitzer, thank you so much, sir, for your time. Great to have your perspective as we zoomed in on this confrontation. And of course,